God is the Son? No, he didn't. Did he say the only true God is the Father? Yes. So the Father is the only true God. That means the one that I have already discounted are not the only true God. Do you agree?
Now, simple. I
Do you
say
agree?
to you, I agree with everything Jesus Christ said. He prayed to the Father, the only true God. But then he goes on to say, I and the Father are one. But then he goes on to say, honor me as you honor the Father.
Do you honor Jesus like that?
Exactly.
How?
I fall down and pray to him. I
Pray-
say, my Lord, have mercy on me.
And who did he pray to?
Sorry?
Who did he pray
He
to?
prayed to his Father.
Okay, so logically, what makes
No,
sense?
if you say logic, nothing is going to make sense to you because these words are spiritual.
Fine.
It
According
is
to
not logic.
spiritual sense, in your spiritual sense, understanding, you see someone praying to God, and a gentleman comes along and he prays to that person who prays to God.
Now, you
Does
see,
that make spiritual
that's
sense
what
to
I'm
you?
saying to you. Spiritually,
Yeah.
you will not understand it. Logically,
Do you
it will
understand
not
it
make
spiritually?
sense. Yes.
Right. So let me ask you again.
Any believer of Jesus Christ, spiritual, anyone who is born again, will understand that. But if you are not born of the Spirit,
Are you?
because the Spirit makes
Are
you
you?
understand the things of the Spirit,
Sure.
and the words that Jesus spoke are Spirit, you as a Muslim, you can never ever understand them unless the Lord sends His Spirit to you to be able to make you understand what the Spirit is saying.
Fine.
But you will never.
Fine, fine. I have no problem with that, okay? But I can at least test whether you understand it or not. Because you have the Spirit. Do you?
I've got the Spirit.
Good,
But
good,
even
good.
when I explain to you, you will not understand because you don't have the Spirit on you.
But at least you will understand, right?
Sorry?
At least you'd understand.
No, you will not understand.
No, would you understand?
My answer to you,
But
you
would
will
you
not
understand my
it
question?
because you're coming
Fine.
in a logical point
Fine,
of view.
fine, fine. But would
God,
you understand
when
my
it comes
question?
to logic,
Would
I will
you-
ask you a simple question. When it
Would
comes to
you,
logic,
would you understand my question though?
did I understand your
No,
question?
would you understand my question if I ask you?
I would understand it, of course.
Very good. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If Christ got married and had children, would the children be God and sinless?
You said if Christ married, it is impossible for him.
Was he a man?
He is a man who did not have lust like
No,
me.
no. Was he a man?
He's a sinless man.
Was
yes.
he a man?
Yes.
As
sinless.
a man, he could have married. That's what men do, right?
No, no, it's not what men do. No, there's people who are born to be single, and they want to be single
Born
for
to
the
be
rest of their
single.
lives.
Born to be
yes,
single.
there's some women who want to be single for the rest of their life. They want nothing to do with
No,
the
that's
man.
their choice.
There's some men who
No,
love to play
that's,
football.
don't say,
yeah,
don't
it's a
say.
choice. Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
What if he chose to get married
No,
and
he
have
can
children?
never. He can never. That is your mind, not his mind.
Excuse me?
I don't know what you like.
When
you
you
don't
say-
know what I like.
No, when you say
so
he-
how do you know? What if Christ chose to have a woman?
So as a human being, you're saying he has totally restricted him from choosing.
He decided not to engage in fleshly lust.
Did he eat?
He ate, yes.
Why did he not stop eating? Why did he not decide eating? Why did he not decide to not to sleep
So
or to have quenched his thirst?
Now, okay. Listen.
Why not?
Now, the questions you're asking me, yeah, are meant to go to Jesus Christ. If you get down on your knees, yeah, and you know he's in heaven, ask him, Jesus Christ, please reveal to me why you did not have a wife.
Okay, let's do
why
that.
You did not. You get what I mean?
Let's do that.
And if he hears you according to his will, he will answer you.
Okay, let's
But
do that.
The questions you're asking me, I cannot answer on behalf of Jesus
Let's
Christ.
do that. But
unless it is written, then I can.
But here's the problem. If I know Christ himself bowed down on his knees, his foot on the ground, it is spiritually making no sense to me, not logically, spiritually,
Yes.
to actually bow down to him. Because that individual himself is dependent on someone to help him. Listen, someone who is dependent on someone else, you asking me spiritually to say, oh, you know what, it's like this. I want to get some money from you, right? Because that's what I need. I want to buy a house or a whatever. I want money. And I realize, when I'm asking you, can you give me 100,000 pounds? And what you do is, you're going there to all your friends, you're going to the banker, lend me some money, give me some money. Then you'll be really crazy of me to think like, you haven't got any money. So what are you going to give me? You have nothing to give. So you are not even worthy even to ask for help. Why? Because you don't possess that money. So wait, let me finish.
Hold on a minute.
Let me
You're
finish.
speaking too much.
No, I'm not
Jesus
speaking too much.
Christ said,
So I cannot.
I am the truth, the way, and the life.
Was it the destination?
Yeah? No, he's saying his life.
Was it the
life.
destination?
Was he the destination? Yes. He said,
No, he isn't.
I am the door. I am the door. No man comes to the Father except through me.
I asked you a specific question.
Yes.
He says, I am the way.
Yes. The truth and the life.
Can you see this way?
Yes.
When you say I am the way, you are not the destination. You are the way to a destination.
Okay.
Who is the destination?
The destination is the Father.
So
And
he is
Christ
not God.
Christ
Thank you
is
again.
at the
Why does
door.
that mean he's not God?
Christ is at
Yeah,
the door.
okay.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you know what? If you want to go to the king, you have to give me £10 for access for making an appointment. Does that make you the king?
No, but we didn't say that. You're making
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to this gentleman.
Hold on.
Does it make you the king?
Hold on. You say, if
Okay.
I want to see the king.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Luca. Okay.
Right, okay, you're the one made the assumption. No, wait,
No,
you made
let's just start again from the very beginning.
Okay, go on.
Can this creation be independent
This
from
creation,
anyone? This creation.
as in this current creation,
This
can
creation.
it be independent?
This creation is already separated from the creator.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Can this creation be independent?
No.
No, it cannot.
No.
It can't. It can't.
In Islam it is.
It cannot. It
No,
is.
because it is.
I'm not
Right
talking to you,
now
my
it's
friend.
independent.
I want to speak to someone,
Hold on.
someone who might,
Yeah. It is independent
rather than
in the sense that.
spiritual sense, he might use some logical sense,
Hold on.
right?
It is
So,
independent in the sense
thank you
that
very
it
much,
is
my friend.
connected.
Thank you. We'll talk again. Now, Luca, how do you know this creation needs and is dependent on something for its own existence?
I say there are a variety of ways, but the first way I go to is just the fact that it's finite. So the fact that the universe and everything in it is finite shows that.
How do you know it's finite?
Well, again, that would be the evidence of all cosmology behind it.
Give me an example of an evidence that's finite.
Okay, for example, redshifting, showing the expansion of the universe. We know that you can't have an eternally expanding universe, otherwise you wouldn't see the redshift that we currently see to the extent that we
Okay?
see
So it's
today.
expanding. It was less expanding.
Right, but as
Fine.
Right.
Good.
The
Point taken.
Right, so the current evidence is
Finite.
that the universe is finite.
Finite. Good.
Right. That is one key. You can't be independent, fully independent, if you are finite.
Why?
Because for your very existence to come into existence, it required a prior cause to then make you come into existence.
So if your existence is dependent on someone else,
Yeah.
that makes you finite.
No. I didn't say
Explain
that.
again.
Okay, so because this is the thing, if for your temporal existence to come in, if you are not existing at one point and then come into existence,
Doesn't matter. Time doesn't come in.
okay, but
If you are caused,
if you come, it's not causation. It's if you come into existence.
is the universe caused by the creator?
Yes, yes.
Right. So it's
There are
causation.
different types of causation.
So no. It is caused. I am not interested in temporal, which is time bound, or atemporal, which is not time bound.
But it is very
The fact is, it is caused. Causation can be temporal within a time, or it could be atemporal with no time limits.
Yeah.
The fact is, it's caused, meaning this thing, this universe, is already dependent for its own existence on a cause.
Sure. But
Right.
I issue that
So
it comes into
Being
existence.
being
It
being
doesn't eternally
caused,
exist.
being caused, can you call this universe the maximally perfect being?
No.
Why not?
Because it doesn't possess all the attributes necessary and sufficient for maximal
So it
greatness.
doesn't possess. If something is caused by another cause,
Yeah.
can it be maximally perfect
Yes.
being in any way, shape, or form?
Yes.
How?
Because it can be omnipotent, omniscient,
Show me how.
benevolent, and maximally
Show me how.
perfect. Okay, so the example, obviously, we're giving analogous examples, but really we're talking about the Son, God the Son. right?
No, I'm not talking about
Okay,
the Son.
okay,
I'm talking about
we know-
anything.
Mansur, we
anything,
know-
anything. I'm not talking about your Trinitarian or Quadritarian
No,
belief.
because this is what we know we're
No,
talking about.
we are talking about
I'm
how can
Right.
you have a caused creation? Anything that's caused,
Maximally perfect.
anything that's caused is created.
No, that's not true. Again, you just showed your...
Hang on.
Explain this to you.
What is creation?
No, I'm asking you.
I'm asking you the question now.
No. You made
What
an
is
assertion.
creation?
You made an assertion assertion, and I'm showing your assertion is false.
Okay.
You said anything that is caused comes into existence or is finite. So that's just
No,
not true.
I'm saying creation.
Okay, I know. But
Anything that is caused, tell me why it's not a creation.
Okay, I understand. Right, okay. There are two types of causation. Okay, there is a normal type of causation, which is called nomological causation.
Who defines that?
Okay, can I finish? And there is another type of causation, which is called metaphysical causation. Nomological causation is the usual type that we're used to, right? So I push a ball, I have caused it to move. That occurs within time. I have to precede it, and then it comes, and I brought about a new state of affairs.
Temporal.
Yeah, it's temporal.
I've explained that already to you.
Metaphysical causation doesn't require time.
I have explained that already to you.
Simultaneous causation.
So why are you
with the
repeating
effect.
something I already explained?
So this is why it shows you don't need causation to infer creation, because the causation and effect can exist at the same time. Therefore, it doesn't have to come into existence, so it's not created. So the sun,
What is creation?
The sun has always existed.
What is
He was
creation?
caused by the Father.
What is creation?
What is creation?
Yeah.
It's the sum totality of what God has brought into existence. in the
When
cosmos.
God brings something to existence, does He cause it to bring into existence?
Yeah, sure, that's one
Right.
type of causation.
So when He calls it, when He calls it,
Caused it.
hang on, when He calls it,
Yeah,
what's the difference between, when you say creation, right? Creation.
yeah.
Can creation be atemporal?
Not in principle, no.
Why not?
Because, well, as in, it kind of just depends how you want to define
No, no.
creation. Well, it does.
Why not? Creation is
I'm asking
other
you a
than,
question.
and for example,
Yes.
anything that is caused prior to being caused, prior in the atemporal sense.
You can't have. Okay, well then it's redundant to say prior. It's redundant to say
Okay.
prior.
Does it make sense then to you to say
Yep.
a creation can precede the creator?
Not really. No. No.
Why is it time bound?
Well, no. Why is what time bound?
Why is creation concept time bound?
Okay, because it doesn't eternally exist. That's part of what we understand creation to be.
Are you saying God could not make an eternal creation atemporally?
Well, okay, there's different types of eternality.
I'm asking you a very simple question.
And I need to explain there are nuances to it. You can't paint with large brushstrokes, okay? God could make a universe that starts at time zero.
I'm not bringing time
Okay,
in.
I'm answering your question. And continues on eternally, okay? That's one option. What God cannot do, because it is a logical contradiction, would be for God to create a universe which has eternally existed.
What does create
in the
mean here?
past. Bring into existence. That's why it's a nonsensical.
No, when you say bring into existence, that means it didn't priorly exist prior.
Yeah, bring into existence.
Right. So when God is causing someone atemporally, is He bringing into existence?
Not necessarily, no. Causation is different.
So
from bringing
wait.
into existence.
So when God causes something atemporally, what is He doing?
It's not metaphysical causation.
What is He doing by doing this cause? He is being a cause
Yeah.
of something in an atemporal sense. What is it happening? What doing?
I literally don't know how to explain that to you.
No.
It is what it says on the tin. He is
That's what you.
causing something else.
You said God causes atemporally. What is God doing?
Atemporally.
Sorry?
He can cause atemporally.
What is He doing?
Causing. That's
No. What does it mean? Cause? Explain.
Okay, can I explain to you why I can't answer your question? Okay? Because you're asking me, what does it mean for God in infinity and eternity to be causing something in eternity?
What does cause mean to you? Causing something.
What does causation mean?
What does causation mean? Precisely.
Okay, there are two types of causation.
You've explained that already. Metaphysical causation.
So I've explained to you that
We've gone through that already.
Okay.
Do not repeat again.
Okay,
It's no point.
So the nomological causation that we have here requires.
Ignore that.
Okay, I'm making a clear distinction so you understand what this other one is, okay? This one requires a prior cause to the effect. This one is the same principle of causation, but it doesn't require the cause to be prior to the effect, and they can coexist eternally. That's how it works. You're now asking me, okay, how do the intricacies of that causation play
No.
out? That
I'm
is
asking you,
beyond
what
my
do you mean by
comprehension.
causation?
That's beyond my comprehension. I don't exist in eternity.
You're using a word that you didn't even know what it means.
Because, okay, wait, how can I give you a practical explanation?
No, you're using a word that you have no idea what it means.
So, I
Don't use it.
I did explain what it meant.
No, you only said there are two types of causation.
Yeah, and
But my central question to you is, what do you mean by causation?
Okay.
Not the branches and the different types of causation.
Okay, I mean that the one which causes
No, what do you mean by causes?
Can I finish the sentence?
The word cause is in dispute at this minute.
Okay, Mansur, if I say to you that the one who causes is metaphysically prior, does that mean anything? Exactly.
If I no, I'm not answering that. Sorry, when I say no, I'm not answering your question. I'm asking you this. When you use the word cause, I'm simply asking you define the word cause and causation.
Okay, and I've given you an explanation of it.
Now I'm asking you to define it.
Okay, right, shall I literally get you the definition of causation?
Up to you. Define it.
Sure. But it won't get you. Okay, the problem is that.
No, I need an answer to what do you mean by causation.
Mansur, the problem is that you're asking what does causation mean. You're not asking for a dictionary definition. You're asking.
Did I ask you to bring a dictionary?
Wait.
I asked you a simple question.
Okay, you're asking for the machinations of how that plays out and works, right? And I'm saying even if I give you a dictionary definition.
Now I want to know what causation means.
Right, even if I give you a dictionary definition.
Which you would have to agree with it, right?
It won't
give me a definition that you agree.
Actually, I don't have internet.
Right. So tell me now, what do you mean by causation?
Okay, and I've explained to you what I meant by causation.
No, you haven't explained it.
I'll explain again.
No, you haven't explained. You've only given me there's two types of causation, time-bound and not time-bound.
Right.
I'm asking you, what do you mean by causation?
Okay. And I mean that the one who causes is
What do you mean one by causes? The word causes is what is
cause. The cause. Okay.
No. When you say one causes, what does it mean by cause? When something causes something else, when someone causes, what is this causation? What does it mean?
Okay. For a certain state of affairs that obtains for the effect, okay, or the object to whom the effect applies, the cause is that which ontologically and metaphysically applies
that object
to it.
That object did exist before the causation.
Yeah. Well, no. Sorry. In this case.
Try again.
No.
The object that God applies the cause.
No. It's not before or after. It's simultaneous causation and effect.
What does it mean by cause again?
Say again.
But you're not answering the cause again.
I did
I'm trying to understand what you mean by cause.
Yeah.
So you have an object, right? You have an object.
Yeah.
Either the object was always there, or it wasn't.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So when God applies the cause, what does it mean he applies the cause?
God eternally applies the cause.
Did I say eternally or temporarily?
No, but this is why it makes a difference.
No, I'm telling you, I'm being charitable to you. I'm saying either in a temporal or atemporal sense.
Okay.
You have difficulty in the temporal sense, leave that aside. In the atemporal sense, in a metaphysical sense, what do you mean by God applies his cause to an object?
Okay. I mean that God is the grounding for the existence of that other object.
What do you mean by grounding?
God is the first principle.
What do you mean by grounding? Every word that you use, I haven't got a clue what it means.
Okay, wait. Can I explain something? Okay. The first are the temporal causation, right? I can explain that to you.
You are again going back to something that we said, don't bring it in.
No, but listen.
Because you are creating some problems for your own self.
I'm not.
Okay, let's make it simple. So now, we're going to write this down. So, we want to know what the word causation means. Causation, right? You said grounding. 1 second.
Metaphysical.
One second.
Yes.
Do you know what grounding means? Grounding. Do you know what it means? Do you? Raise your hands who knows what grounding means when it means causation. Raise your hands. There are about 20 people there, 15, 20 people. No one raised their hands. Wait. So no one have understood what you mean by grounding.
Okay.
So explain again what you mean by causation.
Okay. And you need to let me finish my sentence. Okay?
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is my point. And I'm answering your question. I'm not sidetracking, even though I'm talking about temporal initially, okay? The reason why I can explain to you temporal causation very easily is because I can give you examples that substantiate all my points of that causation. I can't give you any other examples of atemporal causation.
I didn't ask for example.
Wait. Other than the one I immediately have to mind to help you understand it, right? When I then give you the explanation of it, I then use specific terms like grounding and priority and so on, and you don't understand that. Now, I admit I'm probably not the best at explaining this, but that doesn't mean that my point is redundant. I need to perhaps work on explaining it more simply, but I don't have any other substitute terms at my fingertips I can say other than grounding, priority, and like hierarchical structure of reality. God the Father, because this is what we're ultimately talking about, God the Father is more hierarchical priority. He's in a space of priority compared to the Son. He's the metaphysical grounding for the Son. But the reason that's not a problem is because the cause of the Father and the effect of the Son are simultaneous eternally. So there is no time at which God the Son does not exist and where God the Father does not exist, and they're reciprocally dependent. So there's no issue with that, okay? That's my conundrum explanation. Leave it back to you.
Right. So you did exactly precisely what I was thinking you're going to do. I asked you for a definition, not an explanation. So now try again. What do you mean by causation? Define your term. Don't explain, don't give me an analogy, define your term. Because in logic, in philosophy, we define our terms. So you defined earlier by grounding, none of us understood what it means. Well, ignore me. None of the audience understood what grounding meant. So try again with another word. In the English language, what do you mean by causation?
Okay.
And that means causation by God to an object.
Okay, so I've listened to your question, okay? When you define something, often that involves giving in substitute, basically, terms that mean the same thing. I've given you the terms of priority, grounding, and so on, which explain these terms.
Priority, okay.
Okay, you
Priority.
might not understand
Hang on.
Wait.
Don't say you...
Let me finish something.
Okay.
You might not understand what metaphysical grounding is, okay, because we don't practically have examples of that. But that doesn't mean that that's not a definition. Now, I don't have the dictionary definition before me. I just don't have internet on my phone.
I didn't ask you for a dictionary definition.
You asked for a definition.
Definition.
Okay, so why would me giving you a dictionary definition?
I didn't ask for a strawman argument again and again.
I'm asking you a question.
You're committing strawman fallacy again and again.
I'm not.
I asked you a definition. No, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
you're committing strawman fallacy over and over again.
I'm not.
I ask you for a definition, you give me an explanation. I ask
give
you
you
a
a
definition,
definition.
you're telling me, oh, dictionary definition. Look, even in philosophy,
Yeah.
the philosophers can have their own vocabulary, what they mean by what they mean. It doesn't have to be a Merriam-Webster dictionary or Oxford and Cambridge dictionaries. They might include the philosophical definitions. Let me ask you again, one more try, okay? If you don't know, you can go and learn, no problem, we can talk again. Define what you mean by causation.
So I would say I have already defined it by giving substitute terms like grounding, metaphysical priority, and
Metaphysical
being
priority.
hierarchical in the structure of reality. Okay, I've given those
Hierarchical.
substitute terms, right? Now, if you say that doesn't
Hold on,
wait,
hold
let me
on.
finish.
No,
Let me finish.
I'm going to
Just
understand
let me
these
finish.
terms.
Let me finish. If you say that doesn't count as a
Hierarchical what?
definition- Wait, let me
I didn't hear. Hierarchical what?
In a hierarchical state of priority,
Hierarchical state of priority.
yeah. Okay. If you're
State of-
saying that doesn't suffice as a definition, then I guess I don't know the definition.
Wait a second.
I'll tell you this.
I need to understand what you said so far.
Let me quickly. I don't have the skill to simply explain without using these other terms. I don't know how to.
Now we'll take this term. We'll take this term.
Yeah.
So, a causation means hierarchical state of priority. Now let me ask the audience again. What we mean by causation, to cause something on an object, means hierarchical state of priority.
I didn't say that's the definition of it. Can I just quickly
Wait.
clarify? Yeah.
I'll give you the chance again.
Yeah, sure.
So the definitions of, you said substitute words and terms.
That refers to
You said
causation.
metaphysical priority,
Yep.
right? Metaphysical priority.
Apply to the cause,
Wait,
yeah.
1 second.
Yeah.
Do you understand metaphysical priority? This is what causation means? Tell me, explain that. What does it mean, metaphysical priority, which means causation? It means, sorry?
The sun's existence comes from.
I'm not talking about the sun. The very definition of a cause and effect. You're not talking about sun and bananas. I'm sorry.
So do you expect?
I'm asking you to explain when you say God caused something, God caused the universe, so God caused the universe. The word cause means what? So this is the definition of the term that you're using in your sentence. God caused something into whatever. Cause. You're defining cause as the metaphysical priority. You don't mean that, do you?
That's not exactly what I said.
So, let me ask you again. What do you mean by the word cause when God causes something?
Do you mind if I ask a question to qualify what you mean by that question? Do you expect that God's causation eternally is going to operate in the same way as the cause within creation?
I want to know what do you mean by cause. It's not how it operates. What is cause?
He's asking you for a fact. He doesn't know how to answer your question.
So you don't know what causation means?
He's asking for clarification.
I'm asking for
No, I am saying, when you say, how does cause operate? Now, you're still asking, this thing that is causation, this is what it does, X, Y, and Z. I'm saying, no, not what it does. What do you even mean by the word causation?
Well, normally when I use the word causation, I'm talking about things that are within creation. So it obviously applies in a particular way.
What does it mean, causation, in creation?
Normally, it's the thing which
It brings about a new state of affairs.
So,
Actually, no, sorry, it brings about a state of affairs. It doesn't have to be new.
so it brings about a state of affairs.
Yeah.
A state of affairs.
when obviously everything I experience in this world, that's the normal way that works. Obviously, when I talk about
So
God,
causation to you is this act that brings about, it's an act, isn't it? It's an act of God. An act of God that brings about a state of affairs. Right. When it comes to God,
no, sorry, not of God, not necessarily of God.
but we are talking about causation in relation to God. That's from the very beginning.
You said causation.
No,
okay?
causation in relation to God. I didn't say creation because you are limiting to creation. I said, look, atemporally or temporally, when you say God causes something, what do you mean by that?
Does your God work within the parameters of everything within this creation?
Sorry?
Does your God
No,
operate?
you're asking me a different question. I'm asking you, when you use the word cause, you need to define it.
Sure.
Okay.
Go on. What do you mean by the word? No, you are defining, you are not defining, you are simply asking is, what do I understand by the word cause? What do I believe about it?
not asking.
Forget what I understand, what I believe.
He's not asking.
I am asking you, when you apply the word cause in the English language, it can mean various things, right? What do you mean when you say cause?
In relation to what? In what context?
God
are you-
and the objects.
Sure. Okay. In that sense, the Son is eternally proceeding from the Father. The Son is eternally being caused by the Father.
Cause means being caused. Do you know what kind of fallacy this is? Yeah, fine. Try again.
So he's eternally coming from the Father.
Eternally coming from the Father.
We said.
Is that what you mean by causation?
Okay. Both of us said it is to bring about a state of affairs, right? Okay. So if we include within a state of affairs also objects, entities, persons, beings, whatever. Okay, right. So God the Son is a person, right? Who God the Father brings about, but eternally does
so there was never
and
a point where it
necessarily does so.
Let's understand that.
Okay.
So you have God here, and you have the object. There is no temporal relationship, it's atemporal, right?
Yeah, sure.
In a metaphysical sense.
In this example,
Now, atemporal. So this object, did it exist eternally without a beginning?
yes, yeah.
It exists without a beginning, right?
Yes.
Independent of the God.
No.
Is the existence of this object independent of God?
No. Not of God the Father, no.
It's not independent.
So the existence of this object,
And
the
it's
Son,
reciprocal. It's reciprocal.
the object.
God the Father depends
No,
on
look,
the Son.
hear what I'm saying.
Okay.
The very existence of this object called the Son is dependent on God causing it.
God the Father, yes.
Yeah? So that thing is not independent of God, which you affirm.
Yes.
And it is not eternal because it was caused.
Wait, why is it not eternal?
Okay, all right. So it's okay. So it is eternally caused.
Yes.
Right. So far we now have an object which is eternally caused.
Same for the
Do you
Spirit,
believe
by the
that
way.
God can create an universe atemporally like that?
Wait, say again.
Eternally. An object can be there eternally and God causing it to bring existence like he does the Sun. So you have another thing called the universe.
Wait.
A universe which is also metaphysically atemporal and exists by the very dependency on being dependent on God.
Okay, my issue is that when we say creation, as we said earlier...
Not creation.
No. Okay,
This reality.
Reality,
reality.
whatever. We said earlier on in the chat...
Is the Sun a reality?
Wait, let me finish.
Wait.
As we understand it, we often understand that to be finite, okay? We've said that. Right. So when you're saying...
I'm not talking about this universe.
Okay,
I'm
no,
talking
so
about
let me
a
finish.
universe which is atemporally caused by God.
Yeah.
But the atemporality of it doesn't mean that it's eternal. It's just
So you can have a universe atemporally caused by God.
I think the God I'm talking about is the God who is.
I'm asking you,
fact
the
that
God
he's
that you
That's
believe in,
this
is it
universe.
possible that this creator,
Mansur,
God,
that's this
the
universe.
Father, can cause a universe atemporally,
Yes.
which exists all the time eternally?
I don't know if it could exist eternally.
You can do what?
Look, God is the one who's causing it, right? So we have someone who is the one who does the job, acting, the actor, file, in our way.
No, God the Son as well also acts.
Look,
So-
God the Father is the cause
Metaphysical.
of the Son.
Yes.
Right? God the Father is the cause of the eternal universe. Is it possible in your belief system there can be a universe atemporally caused eternally by the creator God the Father?
Do I believe that he's done that?
Now, is it possible he could do that?
I don't know if it's
Why
actually
is that
possible.
relevant? Why would he?
It's important because I want to know.
Because my God chooses what he
It's not about choice. I'm asking you, is it logically possible?
Principle possible.
In principle, is it possible? Thank you.
I don't know if it is actually. I don't know because I don't know if by understanding what universe means properly, do we understand that it should be in principle eternal?
An object
Yeah,
that God caused into
You
existence.
specified it as the universe, and I'm saying
Not this universe.
I don't know. You said a.
Don't conflate with
I-
this
no, no,
universe.
No, I didn't say this universe.
Thank
I said
you.
A universe.
Yeah.
But I don't know if by using the term universe, most philosophers would understand that to have some finitude.
I'm going to define what I mean by universe. An universe is an object which has some reality. Say, for example, there's got stars in it. That's all. A universe has got lots of stars within it. So, in principle, is God the Father in your Trinitarian belief system logically, in principle, able to cause a universe with stars in it, which is atemporally caused and eternal?
I'm not sure, but I'll say perhaps for the sake of the argument, just because I need to be more philosophically precise on what's
Okay.
actually meant by universe.
Why
I'll
don't
say
you
yes
think
for
about
the
it and we
argument.
talk next week on this issue?
Okay,
Let's
sure.
leave it to that. Okay.
Sure.
Nice talking to you.
Wait,
all.
can I have a separate discussion though?
On what?
So rather than a debate, I actually was quite interested to hear from an Islamic perspective what are, and we've kind of touched on it slightly, but what are the best arguments that you guys have, or foremost arguments against the Christian understanding of the Trinity? So what would you marshal forward to say the Trinity is false, logically incoherent, whatever? What kind of arguments you give?
Are you following the discussion with Jake and Josh?
Josh Sidgwick.
Yeah.
Dr. Josh.
Yeah. This is going to be part 2. So already, there's lots of things established already. This is Islamic position. A Muslim arguing with your best Christian Trinitarian position. Maybe he's arguing from monarchical position, a monarchical model. But it doesn't matter. You can bring Swinburne and bring, Bill Branson's model, whatever. And there will be another part, hopefully, on the accusations of tritheism within the Trinitarian model. Let's wait for those two discussions to complete, and then we can continue. Why? Because this is in the process of development, and it's specifically targeting the model that you are actually presenting anyway.
Okay, I'm curious on your.
No, it's not about on me. It doesn't have to, because what you're asking is simply, what do I think? A Muslim can argue on your position, as we've already started that with Jake.
Yeah.
Jake has already started the discussion. Let's complete the discussion, and if you want Bill Branson to come in and debate with him, I'm sure Jake wouldn't mind.
All I'm saying, like right here, right now.
No, right here, right now is, this is a process in development. I want you to follow thoroughly what the discussion is going, because the accusations that I would bring against the coherency of Trinity, he's already bringing that on the table. And there is more to put that on the table in the part 2. So let's finish those 2 parts, and we can summarize the arguments that we have brought forward against the coherency model of your Trinitarian model.
Okay.
To be fair, right?
Is that here at the corner? Is that all just online, basically?
I mean, Jake's not here. Josh is quite busy as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be online. So follow that online, and we can then have a review, and then we can talk about this.
Okay.
Because now our position of criticism against this model is already taking place.
Okay, sure.
Yeah?
Would you want to have a debate about the crucifixion then?
Crucifixion was a rumor. What's there to debate?
No, okay. My point is that.
What's there to debate?
Okay, so my contention is that you can actually marshal forward an argument against Islam on the basis that it objects to the crucifixion, and the crucifixion, basically the historical consensus is that it occurred. And so my argument would therefore be.
What does the Quran say about crucifixion? Just to.
Well, I think it's Surah 4, 171.
What does it say? Does it deny a crucifixion taking place?
What do you mean by a crucifixion? It denies that Jesus was crucified.
Simply, does it deny a crucifixion or any crucifixion taking place?
No, but it denies the crucifixion of Jesus.
Right. So that's why I'm saying crucifixion was quite a well-attested historical rumor. That is the Islamic position. Yes. There are many rumors about
You
Christ,
say crucifixion, do you mean in general or the crucifixion of Jesus?
of
specifically?
Jesus.
Okay.
It's quite well-attested rumor.
It's a
That's
well-attested
all there is.
rumor.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what basis do you have for calling it a rumor when most historians would call it historical?
It's not what most historians said. You see, then the problem of appeal to authority.
No, wait. I'm not.
I'm saying, look, when we look at evidence, right?
Yeah, and what's the evidence?
The evidence is what? You have an individual being crucified, and what are documentation, evidence documentation do you have from eyewitnesses?
Wait, why do it have to be eyewitnesses there at the time? Why do you assume that is the only criteria?
I'm not assuming. I'm asking for an evidence that will substantiate the claim that he was crucified. When the evidence is lacking, all you have is rumors. People say this. For example, oh, I have been told that yes, he was crucified, but I may have been misinformed, isn't it? So if you do not have any eyewitness testimony who are reliable and who narrate.
What about John?
John.
Yeah.
Who is John?
The beloved disciple.
And is he trustworthy?
I would say he's trustworthy.
Not you. Who testified of his trustworthiness?
Clement did, Polycarp did.
Were they
Contemporaries of him.
contemporary?
No.
So basically, you've missed the whole
I
stream.
haven't missed the whole stream.
You've missed the whole stream on E.F. Dawa, on the very concept of crucifixion as a historical event. There are many streams, and it looks like you have not watched them. So I suggest again, before we talk about it, we can talk about it again. I'm not saying point blank, I'm not talking to you. Watch those streams on E.F. Dawa.
Okay.
On the very historicity of crucifixion, because we have already done that for you.
Okay.
We've invited the Christians to come along.
Yeah.
Christians have come along, presented their views, and you can decide for yourself whether you actually establish or the crucifixion as a historical event is established.
My issue is that I debated with Adnan Rashid a couple of weeks ago.
That's not E.F. Dawa.
Okay, no, I know. So I debated with him about this.
Irrelevant. E.F. Dawa had certain panel members who specifically talked about crucifixion. So, for example, today at 10 o'clock UK time, they will be talking about the historicity of the Pauls on Paul.
Yeah.
They've done on Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and prior to that, they did on crucifixion. So this has already been done. We would like you to engage with this criticism of ours.
Okay, sure. So one brief question though. So you said when I brought up this is the historical consensus, and in other discussions I brought up this is the philosophical consensus, okay? And I agree that as a principle of an argument, like logically, you can't, an appeal to authority is fallacious insofar as you're using...
Not all the time, I agree.
I know, but I'm saying, if I assume that because I appeal to X, Y, Z authorities, it is therefore conferred truth upon my hypothesis, that's a fallacy, okay? But if I'm assuming, just reasonably speaking, that because the majority of scholars, reputable scholars in this certain field, testify to this certain hypothesis.
Do you know why?
That I would give prima facie support.
Do you know why?
Wait. Before you explain why, my question is, should I not, until I have other alternate reasons, give my support for that hypothesis?
No, you should examine the evidence yourself.
No, I'm saying
by the evidence that are presented by, look, you're not going to take the person as an authority, but what they're bringing as an evidence.
Yeah, sure.
Good, that's how you should work. So
I agree.
Take the evidence they brought forward and engage with it.
Yeah.
We have already engaged with this evidence. E.F. Dawa, if you haven't watched it, I cannot, how to even emphasize that. Watch those streams and then we talk further.
Okay.
Because the Quran doesn't say no crucifixion happened. It simply says it was a mistaken perception that people crucified Christ. That's what it says.
Islamic argument. This
No.
always been the case.
No, this is the Quranic statement, right? Yeah. I am not reinventing what the Quran says. I'm simply stating what the Quran says. That people mistakenly thought
that Jesus was crucified.
Like many people may think Jesus was this and Jesus was that, right? For example, the people at his time, they thought he was demon possessed. Do you agree with the majority of the Pharisees and the Sadducees that yes, Jesus was indeed demon possessed, because we have a historical testimony from the eyewitnesses who interacted with Jesus, and there were a large number of people. Do you agree?
The only hypothesis we have?
No, I'm asking you a simple question.
No, I don't agree. No, I don't.
Right. So even though you have eyewitness testimony that he was demon possessed, by the large number of people, you still disregard that.
Right. And why would I disregard that?
I'm simply saying you still do. You may have your reasons.
Yes.
Likewise, you can bring in your historical scholarship. I can disregard the evidence for my reasons.
Okay, but my issue is that in many discussions we've had in the past, you've just demonstrated that you dismiss scholars outright.
No, you're making a logical fallacy again.
Okay, shall I prove it? Literally last week we had a discussion, and I said to you that there are most scholars in the philosophy of religion say that dependence is not necessarily a weakness. You said, and I quote, that any scholar who says this, I dismiss their scholarship. You said that verbatim. Okay?
I did.
You said that.
I did.
So you're showing that you dismiss a scholar because of the view that they hold without having principled reasons to the contrary.
No, who said I didn't have a principled reason?
Because you never marshaled for
No.
reason.
Just because I have articulated my reason, that doesn't mean I have no reason.
Okay.
Just like when you dismiss the eyewitness testimony of the Pharisees or the Sadducees or the Jewish people
That's
who...
also not the historical consensus.
Wait.
Okay, fine.
When you dismiss eyewitness accounts that Jesus was demon-possessed, you didn't articulate your reasons. And I didn't say, oh, you just said it like that. No, I did say, with some reasons, we will dismiss that. You will have your own reasons. I may have my principal reasons and arguments and evidence against that view. That's why I started by saying this universe, could it be non-contingent? Could it be non-contingent on anything? You said, no, this universe, as we know, has to be contingent. That means there's a principal way of understanding what this universe can be, independent or dependent. So I am saying, anyone who says, for example, God the Father is dependent of his existence on someone else, they really haven't understood what it means by dependence and sufficiency and aseity.
Except for the philosophers of religion.
Aseity. Are you saying, which philosopher says God doesn't necessarily have to be ase?
Say, has to be a what?
Ase.
I actually
To possess aseity.
I actually don't. I can't remember the definition of say. Can you just restate it?
Aseity is all about self-sufficiency, independency.
Yeah, sure. I don't know, but I never disputed
Why don't you?
that. I didn't dispute that.
No, I'm not disputing that. I would like you to bring a scholar, because when someone is ase,
I didn't assert that.
when someone is ase, a being who is ase, they possess inherently omnipotence and independence.
Yeah.
If they
independence. Where did you say independence?
if you are
Self-sufficiency is the same as
if you are omnipotent,
Yeah.
is there anyone else that you need to depend on for your potency or power?
Perhaps, yeah. Depends what you mean.
Then you are not omnipotent.
Well, no. If you are depending within the one Godhead, then yes. That's
So
fine.
basically saying
If-
omnipotence,
Okay, wait.
omnipotence is not a necessary condition.
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that.
Okay. What does omnipotence mean?
Okay, wait. One point at a time. You're saying that they have to be independent in order to have omnipotence. I'm saying no, that's not the case. God cannot depend on stuff like, he can't eternally and ontologically depend on creation for his omnipotence.
Not creation, anything.
Or anything.
Why not?
Okay, because of the fact that that would diminish that property or that attribute.
What property?
So
we are talking about God being omnipotent.
Yeah, sure.
And he cannot depend on anything external to him.
I didn't say that. Oh yeah, external to himself, yeah, to God.
Yeah. Why? No, I agree with you, but why?
I can give you a principled argument.
Okay,
off the top of my head.
so we'll talk about this another time.
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
let's leave that because I don't want to put you into a corner because the things that I'm saying, of course, you can read this up. It's common knowledge.
Yeah.
So study, and then we can have a discussion.
Equally, it is also common knowledge amongst the philosophers of religion. And again, I'm not saying that you don't. I won't assert that you don't, but you have to have a very, very rigorous principled argument against the consensus of scholars on this.
Yeah.
That dependence qua dependence is not.
What do you mean by
necessarily-
qua?
As in and of itself, simpliciter. So with no specific conditions or other things
So
attached
that's
to
why
it.
I'm going to ask you, which philosopher or what consensus is there that the being which is uncaused can be dependent ontologically?
Wait, say what?
Which philosopher or philosophical consensus is there out there where they stipulate an uncaused being can be not ase, can be not independent, but can be
I
dependent?
don't know about aseity, so I'll leave it to the side. Just
I don't, independence.
okay, wait.
That's what I mean. Aseity is.
I'm not necessarily sure that they're cohesive. Anyway, my point is this: is that I'd say Richard Swinburne says it. Linda Zagzag.
Richard Swinburne says what?
Richard Swinburne.
What does he say?
He would assert that you don't have to be. That God has to be independent in the sense of on himself, right? This is the point. As in,
But he has to be independent still.
no, he can still depend. The persons of the Trinity can depend on one
But
another. That's my point.
ultimately the community, the community has to be dependent or independent.
There is none righteous.
Eternally independent.
That's my point.
Sure, but then we don't
So,
disagree.
no. What we disagree is,
Yeah.
if you have within the community anyone who is not independent, same problem applies.
But it doesn't.
Well, that's why we disagree.
Okay, sure.
Okay, nice talking to you. We'll talk again.
Again,
Yep.
always needs to be said. We obviously disagree, but no ill will harbored either way.
This is the first
Cool.
and
Thank you.
great commandment, and the second is like unto it, namely this: Thou shalt love thy neighbour as thyself. And all men have broken these commandments. All men